All right, what's up, everyone? This is Lorenzo with Unicorn Riot. We're here in Minneapolis, Minnesota, outside the Gandhi Mahal Community Room. I think a couple of weeks ago, we're at an event called Support Local Hustle. This is the second iteration. It's the second one. There's 4 markets they plan to hold. And so we're coming back here again to check out Support Local Hustle, kind of look into this alternative economy. It's trying to keep money in the community and learn about the makers who are here. We're going to see a wide variety of them, different artists, and just kind of learn about why people are trying to make these markets here in Minneapolis, which is known for a very, very big income disparity between black families and white families. And so here we're gonna go in here. We're gonna see what's going on. Again, it's a Black, Indigenous, people of color makers market called Support Local Hustle. So let's check it out. And again, if you like this sort of coverage, go to support Unicorn Riot. You can go to unicornriot.ninja and click donate. But here we go, independent media. Come on in. Hello. Hi. Did you want to support Local Hustle? Did you want to tell me your name and sort of what this is about?
Sure. My name's Annie. I'm volunteering at the door for Support Local Hustle. We're a Black, Indigenous, people of color vendor group that sells and supports makers of color. So our door donation today is for the Cycles for Change Staff Emergency Fund, and then we also have block prints made by H.C. Liu, one of our organizers, for sale.
Right on. And so you're just volunteering. People can come in, they can donate money, and it goes to this cause right here.
Yes.
And they're trying to raise $5,000?
Yes. So Cycles for Change is a nonprofit that laid off their staff with a one-day notice. So this is money that's going towards the staff, that's going to the staff so they can get through the month and keep them where they are and safe.
All right, cool. Well, thanks for talking to me. We're going to go check out the market. So you can see that support at C4C Staff Emergency Fund, paypal.me/Elfing. All right, so we're walking. You see there's a lot of people in here as well. Last time there was, I think, about 13 different makers, definitely different tables. I think there might be a little bit more this time. We're going to go through each of them and start here. This is your table, right?
This is my I'm trying to do my own social media.
So tell me about your table, and we have this letter writing going on here as well. Yeah. So just kind of let me know about all of it.
Sure. So hi, my name's Tori Wrong, and I'm a visual artist. I sell cards, stickers, zines, and fine art prints of my work, all rooted in relationships, whether it's the relationships with ourselves, with others, with the planet, with food, etc. I'm also hosting a letter writing activity for a sex worker named Helen who's incarcerated in Florida. She has stage 4 breast cancer, so we're just sending her letters of love and support, and I'll be mailing it out after the event. So
I guess how does the letter writing campaign sort of fit into this market, you know?
Sure, yeah. So Support Local Hustle is an all Black, Indigenous, and people of color vendor market. Everyone's welcome, but we really are here to support BIPOC folks and to support, we have door donations that we do that every event that support various causes around the Twin Cities. And so this just was a perfect match because I didn't have to host my own event. I could just have people who are already here come through and support other people in our community. So, yeah.
Thanks. And you also you co-organize this market as well, right?
Yes, I do.
Yeah. Do you want to tell me a little bit about like what brought you to organize this Black and Indigenous people of color market? Like why is this market here to you at least?
Yeah. So I actually, when I first started selling my work, Support Local Hustle was the first place I did it, and I hadn't had any other vendor markets experience before, so I felt really fortunate to have come to this at such a supportive environment. And then I have had since then other experiences at other markets. They've been fine, but this is a market that I feel like supports me and my identities the most, and where the customers come here and they know what to expect. They know to expect BIPOC art, goods made by us, etc. And so instead of being like, oh yeah, that's just the Asian table, the queer table over there, it's just in line with everyone else's work. And then all the vendors here too, we all support each other. So we don't tolerate racism, transphobia, queerphobia, ageism, any of that stuff. So we all are here to support each other. So that's why I love the markets, and that's why I love coordinating it. So
that's great. Is there any way people can find you on the internet?
Yes. So I'm online on Instagram. You can check me out. It's my name, Tori, Tori.Hong, Hong, Tori.Hong, or my website is www.torihong.com.
And so you say all your work is inspired by relationships. I guess what inspires you about relationships? I guess.
Yeah. So for me, art started from a young age. I remember. I'll show you an example. So these cards are called Hwatu cards. They're Korean small PVC playing cards that my grandparents brought over from Korea. And I remember there's like, you know, all sorts of seasons and all sorts of like animals and floral imagery, etc. on them. And I remember as a kid using that to tell stories. I'd, you know, put the deer next to the bird, next to the flowers, and that's how I tell my stories. My grandparents on both sides didn't speak English as their first language, and I didn't really speak Korean or Hmong. So through art and like, you know, through these cards and through food and like there's so many ways to communicate love and relationships beyond just language. And so that's how I really got into art, was through just like my love for my people and for my grandparents and my family, and being able to tell those stories.
Thank you so much.
Yeah,
thanks a lot. So we're going to keep going. Again, you can check them out online. Tori Wrong. Again, thanks for joining us. If you're just joining us right now, we are live right now in the Gandhi Hall in Minneapolis, Minnesota for Support Local Hustle. We're going to be talking to all the different makers, learning about what kind of like inspired them to make the wares they're making, and also we're going to talk to some of the people who organize the market itself about why they organize a Black, Indigenous, people of color market here in Minneapolis, Minnesota. So we're going to keep going. This is HCLOU Art, and they're busy right now, so we're going to give it a second. It's Heather, local artist. Hi, I'm okay. Do you want to talk a little bit about your table? Introduce yourself. We talked before, but you know some new people are probably watching.
Yeah. Hello, Internet. Hello, Unicorn Riot. My name is Heather, also known as HCLOU Art. I use she, her, and hers pronouns. You can follow me at HCLOU on Instagram and or on the Facebook. All of my art is really rad, angry, feminist, colorful, queer art. I take a lot of inspiration from feminism and nature, being super depressed and angsty, and I'm also a huge dog mom, and so I do a lot of really rad custom pet portraits, and so all of my art is about community, about color, about finding ways to heal through art and creativity, and so we're just glad that folks are supporting Support Local Hustle, and if you ever have any questions, give a holler. Once again, HCLOU.
And why does the world need like angry feminist art right now? Like,
oh my gosh, why doesn't the world need angry feminist art? So Audre Lorde, so I like also work in education, so I'm like super nerdy, but Audre Lorde talks about anger as a really important tool of resistance and using anger as productivity, right? And trying to find ways to communicate sometimes really hard things. So whether it's talking about healing as a survivor, if it's, you know, talking about impeachment, immigration, talking about Black and brown and queer and trans lives mattering, right? I feel like art is a way for us to really start to come together over imagery, but then have a gateway to talk about some really, really hard social issues and dismantling white supremacy. So actually, I think in the Twin Cities, I became more so known for like my fuck white supremacy prints and zines that I created after the 2016 election and performed a lot of, you know, the poetry in my fuck white supremacy love letter zine. And I think that a lot of people kind of laugh at first and then they start reading it and they realize that not everything is just about fuck white supremacy, but it's really about resistance and being able to resist together as people with historically marginalized identities. So yeah.
Well, thank you for all that. Like, let that wash over me for a little bit. So how is I guess a market like this play into that resistance? I feel like
Yeah, so I have been so lucky to be one of the co-organizers since almost the beginning with Pickle and Tori, and I think that our vision and Lowe's vision was really about creating a space that was a counter space, right, to really challenge late stage capitalism in terms of who has wealth, how do we redistribute wealth, but then also how do we help other Black, Indigenous, people of color, queer, disabled, you know, fill in the blank immigrants, right, folks with marginalized identities, how do we help people develop skills so that they can share their crafts, right? How do we help people find mentorship and learn more about what does it mean to be a local business owner? And so I think a lot of what we've done is really about skills teaching, about connecting with community, helping people understand. So if you have wealth, whatever that means, whether you're bartering, relationships, sponsorship, we're able to make sure that people are able to redistribute that and collaborate and really challenge what does it mean to be someone with privilege. So I think that we have been able to carve out that space and also to challenge a lot of markets. Lo and I talk a lot about, I used to be in a lot of places the only vendor of color. And people would pass my table, they'd talk to my dog and not me. They'd put stuff on my table and sometimes dump their soda on my table all over my merchandise, or say like, I'm not gonna pay you for this, I'll give you $5. And you're like, whoa, that's not okay. And so I think that this has been a space where we've tried to make it safer, we've tried to connect with folks, and I think that we, through a lot of hard work and intentionality, it's not perfect, but through a lot of that, we've been able to empower ourselves and empower each other.
Well, thank you so much.
It's nice to see you again.
Yeah, it's nice to see you too. Where can people find your stuff again?
Yeah, so you can follow me on Instagram, HCLOU, or you can go to hclouart.com and check out my store. So, thanks.
Yeah, thanks a lot. So yeah, so if you just joined us, we're here at Support Local Hustle. That was two of the co-organizers of the market, along with their tables. Definitely go back and check them out. I'm dragging cords. We're gonna jump. Yeah, we're gonna go ahead and jump in now. You can see there's all these different tables. We're gonna try to talk to all of the makers. So we're gonna take some time with each of the tables, learn about the crafts, what kind of like motivated them to start making this stuff, and just hear about it. So there we go. Hello. Hey. Everyone's really busy, as you can tell. So this is, do you want to talk about your table at all? Like, introduce yourself, tell us about your table.
My name's Sophia, and this is Jana.
I'm Jana, hello.
And we work at Dulceria Bakery. So Dulceria Bakery makes Mexican artisanal pastries.
So we're a space that really prides ourselves to be inclusive and a safe space for all, and we do that as much as we can through our pastries. And we have incredible pastries that are gluten-free, vegan, and traditional. We're actually one of the first places to have gluten-free pan dulce in the United States, so we're really happy to be able to be more accessible to as many people as we can.
So it's like, is all of it gluten-free or just?
We have a good variety. Like we have gluten-free here, gluten-free, traditional, vegan. So
it's all like marked up.
Yes, and we always label them so everyone can, visually see the options, and all our flavors change seasonally, and we use all organic ingredients and fair trade, so all handmade as well. So it's amazing.
And then you said that the bakery really prides itself on being inclusive. Like, why is it important for the Dulceria Bakery to be inclusive?
So, kind of the origination of Dulceria really was from the Trump administration and what they kind of put out there of just in like excluding people, and that really drove us to want to bring people together in the best ways that we can, and that was through pan dulce.
So our first sales actually, part of the profits went to the Immigrant Law Center of Minnesota, so that we were directly combating the Trump administration, not just through our pastries, but through that other motive as well.
And is there any way to find the bakery online? Is there a website or like a Facebook?
We have our website at dulceriabakery.com. We also have, this is all of our contact information, dulceriabakery.com. We're on 42nd and Cedar in Minneapolis.
Thank you so much.
We're also super active on Instagram. Yes, we have a big Instagram following, and we're always like posting our newest.
What was the address on Instagram?
Dulceria Bakery.
Right there. All right, so you can see this bakery. First gluten-free pan de dulce. Yeah, it's pretty big. So we'll probably keep moving to get a little, there's a lot of people. We're going to go to Basic Butter. We actually spoke to them last time and see how they're doing, I guess, since last, I don't know, how long ago was that? Like 2 weeks, 3 weeks? 3 weeks ago? Yeah, if you're just joining us, you're watching this on Unicorn Riot. We are going through Support Local Hustle, a Black and Indigenous people of color market here in Minneapolis, Minnesota. This is like the second time we've been to this market. There's 2 more after this, and we keep trying to kind of bring us back, check in with the different makers, see how the new makers are there, and also just keep learning more about the market and how, as we learned earlier, people are viewing this as a way to resist late-stage capitalism is what we were told. So, interesting. Awesome. But yeah, just keep follow, like, share. Again, we are a non-commercial project, so none of this gets seen unless you let folks see it. Hey, how's it going? You look really busy. I don't want to interrupt. Yeah. Well, I'll come in here. So, like, Basic Butter, we talked to you last time. Is your name DK?
Yeah, I'm DK. Here with my partner Nolan, we make basic butters. We use a coconut oil shea butter base. So, during this time of year, like everyone has really dry skin, it gets flaky, but you can remedy that with basic butter.
Like, how's it going? Like last time you said that it was going really well. Yeah. You sold out really fast. You felt so. How's this time going along?
This time I think we're a little bit more prepared. We spent some more time making more products, trying to keep track. And from our last time we were here at Local Hustle, we kind of took notes, and from there tried to adjust how much we should make and what's more popular. So we're listening to everybody and what they're buying. We always like the input, just so we know what we can do and how we can make our products better and accessible for everybody.
And what got you all to make like basic butter? Like what was the?
I started making it for myself, and then when my friends would come over, they'll be like, "Oh my gosh, this is so good! You need to make this." And I was like, "No, it's just for me." And then I thought about it, and I was like, I could really make some good money off this if I invest. And in January, I put some money down, and I did it, and it's successful. Like a lot of my family really love it. They always order. I love it.
And is that sort of so your friends and family sort of like the first people who started showing interest in your product, and you're like, that sort of launched you?
Yeah, yep. And I had them to help me with the website and the digital things and stuff because I know nothing about that. I was like, I'll make the products and you do the website. And I actually enjoy making this. It's really not that hard. So, and people love it. It's all natural. It's better than lotion. So it's really good.
And your name was Nolan, right?
Yes, my name is Nolan.
Yeah. And where can people find your website, the contact information, whatever you want to share?
So we have a business card here. It has our website on the back, basicbutter.com. You can also find us on Facebook and on Instagram.
Yeah, and like last time you had mentioned how you felt like it was a good kind of first experience and empowering to be in this market. Do you still feel that way?
I definitely do still feel that way. I like to also buy things from other people too and see what they do and how they do it. It's amazing because it takes a lot of time to do the things that people do, and it's just amazing to know like the time that they take out of their life to give to other people,
Creative energy is it's really good to be around. It's infectious. You kind of feed off of it, and it kind of goes into your own work, right? It motivates you, and being here kind of validates us and what we do, and we're just happy to be here.
Yeah, it can be very inspiring.
Well, thank you so much for talking to us again. It's Nolan and DK from Basic Butter. Yeah, well, we'll see you again. Take care. All right, so they keep going. That's them. They're doing great. Looks like they have more stuff, selling more stuff. Brought more stuff out. I don't know what else we're just moving along. Okay, we're going to this Support Local Hustle market here in Minneapolis, Minnesota. It's really busy, so we apologize. There's a little bit of stops, so we also don't want to just jump in front of people. So we're going to keep moving along and hopefully interview some more of the different makers Hi, do you want to talk about Stitch Monkey?
Yes. Hi, my name is Melanie, and I'm the creator of Stitch Monkey, Crochet Goods. I mostly make things that I would enjoy and want to wear, so I love scarves and headbands, so that's usually what I go for. But I've been crocheting for about 6 years now. It's something that was passed down in my family. Like, I think my great great grandma taught a great aunt who taught my mom, and my mom taught me. So it's something that I've always just enjoyed doing. And then 3 years ago with the first market, one of my friends who's here, Jaehoon, was like, "Hey, like, I know you crochet. Would you want to sell your stuff?" And I was like, I'd never thought that I could sell my things or that anyone would be interested in buying them. And so it's been really fun and like a confidence builder for me too, to be like, I have a skill that people love and that I can share. Gives me an excuse and an outlet because I like to crochet a lot, so it doesn't just pile up in my home, and I can make some extra cash with it. So
That's great. And so it's like the skill that was handed down through your family, and now you're here at this market. Is this like your first experience at a market like this, or?
Yeah, this is the only market I've ever sold at, actually. So I pretty much just kind of have had the capacity to do this, and maybe if a few friends ask me to do stuff for them, but yeah, I don't really sell anywhere else.
Is there a place to find? Is this the only place to find you then? Is it markets like this?
Unfortunately, yeah.
Well, there you heard it. If you want to find this, you got to come to this market. That is all right. Great. Well, thanks again. I'm Lorenzo, and what was your name?
Melanie.
Melanie, thanks for talking to us. Yeah. Let's see if we can check in with this person real quick. Hi, can I talk to you really quick about your table? Yeah. This, if you want to introduce yourself and what we got going on here.
Yeah, so I am Candida Gonzalez. I am from Las Ranas Jewelry, and I sell earrings, necklaces. I got some like decoration winter ornament things going on today. Yeah.
And where's Las Ranas at? Where's that?
Las Ranas?
Yeah.
So where is it at?
Yeah.
Yeah. Basically, you can find me on Instagram, Las Ranas Jewelry. That's where I do most of my stuff. I sell at a lot of pop-ups, Be Resale, The Future, and Gamut Gallery. You can always find my stuff there too.
And what like motivated you to bring this stuff together? Did you make this, or did you like?
I do. I make this, so I'm really into this idea of how different pieces can come together and create a specific energy. I think one of my biggest inspirations, at one point the Walker had on their wall this saying, bits and pieces put together to create a semblance of a whole. That really resonates with me. I'm also very much into astrology and feelings and music and color, and so these are just like my mini sculptural creations.
Yeah. So every one of these is like music, color, all bleeding out.
Yeah.
Or not bleeding out. Coming together.
Big tropical vibes too.
Tropical vibes. I like that. And how long have you been making stuff like this?
So actually, my very first sale ever was Support Local Hustle 1 year ago. I have been making jewelry all my life, and just last year I was like, maybe I'll try selling it. I felt super uncomfortable trying to get into any of the more like white traditional markets in Minneapolis, and then someone reached out to me about Support Local Hustle, and I was like, oh, I think I can do that. That seems like a place that would like hold me and support me. And it was an amazing first sale. The organizers were so sweet with me, helping me get everything ready, and it just really kicked off my business. I'm super grateful for Support Local Hustle.
What was it about this market that really brought you out here? You were saying it was like, you're like, all right, this is the one that feels good. Then you came here. It worked, you sold some stuff, and now you're back.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, like I felt really nervous, before I had my first sale about I just felt nervous about putting my work out there into the world, and I had never done a sale before, and like I was really intimidated by the other sales. And again, like support local hustle. You know, they're like, we are all BIPOC. We want to support new vendors and support new hustlers, and we want to support you in like getting out there and doing your first sale. And that, I mean, it just made all the difference. I don't know that I would even be out here selling stuff right now if it wasn't for that first sale last year. So hugely supportive and grateful of this market and the organizers.
How can people get a hold of you really quick? And then
Instagram, Las Ranas Jewelry.
All right, wonderful. Thanks for talking to me. You get back to your work here. Oh, sorry. Ooh, there's a lot of folks. We're going to keep moving along. Let me... Sorry. I'm going to hang out. All right, everybody. So we're going to keep moving on here. I'm checking the old internet machine, making sure I'm not missing anything. We are doing great. We're still at Support Local Hustle here in Minneapolis, Minnesota. I am your host, Lorenzo. We got Nico on the camera. Dan's on the internet somewhere running some back-end stuff. Thanks for joining us. We're going to keep talking to these makers, learning more about the market, the effects of this market. As you can hear, there's people talking about how their experience at this market, a market like this, really sort of like opened their eyes to different possibilities. We also have heard about how people feel like the organizers feel this is a way for folks to keep money in the community, a way to address late-stage capitalism. Earlier, we had the last one, we're going to talk to Lo again, but Lo had mentioned about how this is a cash-only market because when you use credit cards, there's a sort of a percentage that's taken out that goes to that credit card company, and that money leaves the community. So they're trying to figure out how to keep money in the community. You can hear people empowering each other, just learning about each other's wares. So we're going to keep learning more about it. I'm going to go this table. They're in the middle of this is Anella. This is Anella Barboza. We talked to them last time. I guess all their gourd work and like these different masks they're making. I'm really interested to talk to them too. Is last time they talked about how all of the wares they're making was going to support Mauna Kea. And so we're going to kind of have an update of what's been going on in the protests around Mauna Kea. If you don't know, there's a 30-foot telescope they're trying to build on Mauna Kea in Hawaii, which is a sacred mountain. Local indigenous people have been protesting the building of telescopes on that mountain for decades. This is, I think, the 13th one. Recently, they called it off. At least the security that was there, but then they also put an eviction notice for the protesters who have been there for hundreds of days now. They've been there for hundreds of days. So we're going to go here. We're going to learn a little bit more about it, and then also just keep learning more about the market. So it's a lot of different stuff, a lot of humans. People have stuff to talk about, so we're going to talk about it. So thanks for joining us today here at Support Local Hustle, Minneapolis, Minnesota. You're watching this on Unicorn Riot. Maybe we'll move to like the next table and come back. This is. Oh, it's just a lot of people. I don't like being. It's hard to get in front. Anyways, we're just trying to wait. People are obviously busy right now. They're working, they're hustling. And Support Local Hustle here at Makers Market in Minneapolis, Minnesota. People are just going through the tables, learning about the wares. We're learning about them too. And again, like this market is keeping all of the, it's trying to keep all the funds in like the local community, the Black, Indigenous, people of color community, and also bringing people here to like, buy goods from folks who they can, support their community. Pretty straightforward. A lot of supporting. It is called Support Local Hustle. Hello. Well, no, I was to talk to. I'll talk and I'll come back this way. So where are we right now? What's your name? What's this? Yeah.
So I'm Han. I'm with Perfect Chai Art.
So basically what I do is make prints featuring Tamil people, which is diaspora people from South Asia. And so all my prints feature South Asian women and South Asian people, should I say. And so yeah, that's what I do with my art.
And how long have you been making art like this, or what motivated you to make art about like that women in diaspora? You know?
Yeah, so I'm a Tamil woman and I never see myself represented, and so I figured if I wanted to see it, I would do it myself. And so yeah, this is my first piece. It's just chai piece. I got so like annoyed at friends saying chai tea because it's so redundant, and so that started it about a year ago and been going strong ever since.
And how does it feel, I guess, to be selling prints of your work here at Support Local Hustle?
Awesome. This is my 4th Support Local Hustle. It's my first time selling art at it. I also sell body care products with a co-business with my friend called Raj and Taj. So that's what I've been doing the past 3 times, and then this is the first time selling my art, and it's kind of surreal and awesome. So happy to be here.
Right on. And I guess, where can people find your art? Is there a place online, or is it?
Yeah. So my Instagram is Perfect Chai, no spaces, simple, and so I have prints available there, stickers, and yeah, love interacting with people through that.
Wonderful. Yeah, thanks a lot. So that's Perfect Chai, at Perfect Chai. You can see it there. All right. Smell women diaspora art, because you didn't see yourself enough. You're like, I'm just gonna do it.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Why not?
That's awesome. That's great. Thank you so much. Hey, I talked to you last time.
Yes, you did.
I hear all about your chocolates.
Yes.
I'm sorry to interrupt the chocolate tasting. So I don't know if you want to tell us just a little bit about it again, and I'm just kind of curious how things have been going since the last time we talked.
It's been fun. I love coming back here now. Everybody is so friendly, and I had a good time drinking chai and then more samosas from the restaurant there. For my products, just like the same time, same thing like last time. I got soup kit, I got chocolates, and I got chai spices. Yeah.
What was your name really quick, and then where people can...
Ishwari. My name is Ishwari. In my language, it means goddess, and my company's name is Ishu's Himalayan Foods because my family called me Ishu for Ishwari.
And then all the chocolate too is like infused with different spices. Yeah. And that's...
Yes, this one is chai. It had chai spices in them. This is with cayenne pepper. This is little hot. And this is with ginger and ginger crystal. That's milk chocolate. These two are vegan, and that's not vegan.
And you're making these, you make these yourself?
Yes, right now I make them at home. Yeah. It's a cottage food, so I can make them at home. But hopefully next year or a year, in 2 years, I'll be expanding more.
Oh, right on. So people should keep an eye out for you, huh?
Yes, I'll be the local celebrity soon.
All right, sounds good. Well, it's nice to talk to you again. And can I have try a little piece? Yes. I'm kind of curious. Can I get the hot one?
You want a hot one?
Yeah, I want the whole thing. That's real big.
That's for you.
Oh, jeez.
And then one for you.
Yeah, I'm going to get one. I'm going to eat this.
Hot one too? Yeah.
It looks really beautiful. You want the hot one? Or eating it? It's good. It's really good. It's hot. Yeah, it's really good. Thank you. That's great. Oh, there it is. Like the heat, really...
At the end?
Yeah, shows up at the end. Thank you. Hello. Did you want to just introduce yourself really quick? And oh my gosh, the heat's it's still going. It's it just keeps building. It's really good, but it keeps building. Oh my gosh. Woo. Anela Barboza.
Yes.
Just talk really quickly about, we talked last time, but we can do a check-in, just talk about your table really quick and introduce yourself.
Yeah, so I do, all my work is done with gourds. During this season, I mostly did gourd ornaments so people could gift them as holiday gifts. But it really started from these little helmets here that are called makinis. They're out of our tradition, our Hawaiian tradition. And then I did a batch of jewelry that was made for supporting the Mauna efforts up in Mauna Kea.
And Mauna Kea, it's like the protest against the 30-foot telescope, 30-meter telescope.
It's a 30-meter telescope, yeah. It ends up being 18 stories up and 2 stories drilled into the ground, right on the summit. It's actually the 14th telescope that will be built up there if it goes through. Yeah.
And what's been going on lately around there?
Yeah. So lately, it's kind of in a funny time. Like specifically today, law enforcement has been ordered to withdraw from that area. But there's been some ultimatums, some dates that have been given to the people that are on the Mauna to evacuate, like the day after Christmas, so December 26th. So we really don't know between now and the holidays what's going to happen and how that will start to turn out.
People have been up there for hundreds of days now.
Yeah, it's I think 165 days. It's somewhere in that neighborhood. So it's been a long time.
All right. Well, thanks for that update. Really quick, I really want to know. And how can people find your work online?
You can find me on Instagram at Anela Barboza. If you want to this is me right here. That's probably the best way to get a hold of me.
And then for people who want to follow like Mauna Kea, is this the hashtag Mauna Kea? Or?
There is, it's going to be really hard to spell. But if you go to Pu'uhuluhulu, so it's Puuhuluhulu, and you can find just pu'uhuluhulu.com. We'll give you all kinds of resources and information.
And what does that stand for? Is it,
actually, I have no idea.
I can't either. That's why I asked you. Yeah. Well, thank you so much for talking to us, and good luck on your day. We're going to that person back there. All right. Yeah. So we're going to keep going. Again, if you want to follow information about Mauna Kea, hashtag Mauna Kea. You can go to that website as well. There's a lot of information coming out from there. There's a lot of media makers on the ground, so you can see what's going on if you take the time to find it. So we're going to come over here. Really slow.
Let me tell you, before I started pictures, I did not realize that the world is
I don't think I checked in with you before, so I just wanted to make sure it was fine. My name is Lorenzo. I'm with an organization called Unicorn Riot. We're here covering support local hustle, and we're talking to the vendors. So tell us about your name, your table.
I'm Carrie. I'm Carrie Lee Art here. This is I do all food themed items, so everything's handmade. I sculpt these little pins and magnets. I make these little baguettes and earrings, and I just want to make something that it's cute and fun and brings joy to people, and that's kind of my goal. So.
Oh, I guess what motivated you to try to bring joy to people through
I don't know. I just feel like there's a lot of ugliness out in the world, so just bringing what little happiness can bring to people, and seeing people's faces when they see my stuff, they smile and they think it's they laugh, or they find some of the puns really funny. I think that to me is very rewarding, as long as I can put a smile on someone's face.
Right on. I'm just taking a look at all of it. You got I'm a fungi. Yeah. They're all really cute. I give you that. I like the shrimp the most, I think. The shrimp is very nice. What's your experience with Support Local Hustle been like?
It's been amazing. This is one of my favorite events to do. It's just such a warm sense of community, and they're so welcoming to everybody, and they're trying to make these markets accessible to everybody, and I love the support and just the feeling of camaraderie everyone has here.
What can people find your stuff? They ask you that?
I'm on Instagram at Carrie Lee Art. I have an Etsy shop, which I've kind of neglected for a little bit, but Instagram is usually the best, Carrie Lee Art.
Right on. Well, is there anything else you want to tell anybody who's watching, who's interested in your art?
Check me out on Instagram. Support local hustle. Support local hustle. Support small local businesses, and just get out there in the community and support artists.
Right on. I like the baguette.
Thank you.
That was wonderful.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, thanks for talking to us.
Hello, friends.
Hey, what's going on over here?
Not much. I am setting up part one of two tables that we had, but I'm with Reparations Media and Apparel. We're a political art and streetwear brand that puts race in your face. We tackle issues of racial injustice and economic inequality, particularly here in the Twin Cities area.
And how long has this line been going, I guess?
Yeah, so I've been printing the brand for about 2 years now. We started as a failed Kickstarter campaign, actually. And once we decided to print all this inventory, we still had a huge outpouring of support from the community, even though our campaign ultimately wasn't successful. And we felt as though we had a responsibility to the people who had bought into our vision to continue doing this. And so one stop pop-up shop turned into 2, which turned into 10, which turned into 20, and then here we are 2 years later doing pop-ups. And so it's been a really wild ride, but an awesome experience.
And do you want to say your name one more time?
Yeah, absolutely. My name is Noel Gordon Jr., and I'm one of the co-owners of Reparations Media and Apparel.
Reparations Media and Apparel. What brought you the name? Like what?
Yeah, absolutely. So about 2 years ago, I had been really interested and wanted to have a conversation about slavery reparations for things like Jim Crow, for the American Indian Removal Act, for the criminally racist war on drugs, all the issues that Black, Indigenous, and people of color often talk about, but often don't get covered in the mainstream media. And so I wanted to have a conversation about reparations because I felt as though it would kind of cover all of the various ways that we've been discriminated against, oppressed, marginalized, and that was 2 years ago, and to see that conversation come a long way since then has only inspired me to continue organizing around this central demand for reparations, because it seems to create solidarity between different groups of color, as well as turns attention on the specific organization that needs the most attention, which is the government, and how they failed people of color.
And like, what? So you're saying that like that was a lot.
Sure.
Well, I guess first of all, like reparations. Why is reparations important? How is that like a way to build solidarity between different groups of people of color?
Well, on the one hand, you would talk, for example, to American Indian communities who would say that our, I think, grievance with the government start around the American removal and the government's continued pillaging and kind of settling of lands that didn't belong to them. You would have another group of African Americans who are uniquely targeted by Jim Crow laws, by the transatlantic slave trade. You can have Asian American communities who could talk about the ways in which they were marginalized during the railroad reconstruction and kind of immigration controls. And so from no matter what perspective you look at it, the U.S. government has failed to deliver for people of color. So rather than kind of make our demands individually, why not collectivize them with a demand for reparations for all the communities that have been harmed by the government, which continues to be racist, supremacist, things like that.
Right on. Where can people find your stuff online? Is it?
Sure, you can find us online at reparationsapparel.com or on Instagram or Facebook at reparationsapparel.
Maria, I'm going to keep going. Thank you so much for talking to us. Thanks so much for education.
Covering us. Be well.
Take care. All right, so we got a few more tables. We're almost going to go through this again. This is Reparations Apparel, not a dangerous hoodie. I'm white and afraid of everything. Reparations Apparel and Black Lives Matter. Yeah, some more.
Yeah, the more the merry. And then in the New Year, January, we have a really good book. Oh, hi, cuties of Unicorn Riot.
I was just talking about you, I think, a couple days ago, because I know that you wrote this book. I haven't read it. I'm going to throw it out there.
Hi.
But I was really excited. I saw, how about you tell us about yourself and everything?
Okay, I'm Janata, Petrus, Nassau. I'm a writer, a performance artist, runaway witch, cosmic bag lady, and I have a book out called The Stars and the Blackness Between Them, a young adult book. But I'm an all-around hustler, if you must know.
And so, so you got the book going on. I'm really interested. And then I guess what else do you have on this table today you're offering that's sort of like...
So part of what I've been into is creating works that share my poetry in a way that's not just me reading, but you can have it in your house, like this poster that was a collaboration with Sister Black Press, and it's a broadside. I have all these astrology candles with my astrology poems on it. I got t-shirts, got more astrology poems. So yeah, just kind of bringing in all of my sort of interests and finding ways to share it in ways that could be keepsakes for people that are meaningful.
And so you're saying right now that there's this kind of change, what you're creating is always kind of changing?
Yeah, I feel like for me as a performing artist, you know, when I perform and, you know, do my work in one way, that's, you know, people experience it, that's great. But what's been nice about this is that people can take a piece of it home, and, you know, with these candles, for example, they can do altar work, new moon, full moon stuff, think about different astrological, ancestral energies. So for me, it's like a way that people can have a more meaningful kind of long-term interaction with my work, besides if they see me perform or not.
Well, I want to look at everything, but I'm going to keep going. I'm going to come back. Yeah, well, how can people find you, and your name one more time?
Yeah, they can find me, Janata, Petrus, Nassau. I'm on Instagram, I'm on Facebook, and Twitter.
Right, check them out. Yeah, hello! I'm so excited. We have nail care, cruelty-free, plus vegan.
Right, it's on the little white thing there, Leisha's Lacquer.
Yeah, Leisha's Lacquer. So it's vegan, cruelty-free, and non-toxic nail polish.
And so this place, okay, so this is Leisha's Lacquer. And then what was your name?
Alicia De La Cruz.
And I'm Jason.
And I guess what got you to start making Alicia's Lacquer?
Yeah, I've been doing it for 8 years actually. Yeah, so I've been doing it for a while. I actually found out how to do it myself. Like, I started out blogging about nails, and then I found out that you can make your own nail polish. So it was a natural path.
And so you kind of like mix you mix this all yourself. So every color, every I guess like. What is the impetus? I mean, not that you don't need to say more. Like, I can make it myself, so I'm making it myself. I get that, but like, yeah. So what? I mean, if you have like all these different colors, like, how does this take you over almost? You know?
Oh yeah. See, so I'm an artist. I love mixing color, and like that's the thing for me. It's making something unique and making something that you cannot find in stores. So like a lot of this is just how I make it. It's just pigments. So this is like just a pigment and like some shimmer stuff, and some of them are like glitters, so solvent-resistant glitters, and all of that is put into a suspension base, mixed up, and it's cute.
Yeah. So do you get like, I don't know, I'm just trying to imagine, because it's like you're making colors. Yeah. And so like, what's that like for you to be making all of these different colors?
Oh my gosh, it's fun. Like, I love making like neon stuff. I love making stuff that you can't, like I said, stuff you can't find. Like, this is thermal, so this means it changes color, and like when you're warm, so you go outside, you come inside, it'll change color depending on that. It's so much fun. I love doing it. I do. It's my main passion.
Well, and where can people find your stuff online?
Yeah, so I have my own website, leishaslacquer.com. I'm on Instagram, I'm on Facebook, I'm local here in Minneapolis. I have a lot of places that I'm at here in Minneapolis. So yeah, online.
And what's your experience with Support Local Hustle? How's that been for you?
Oh, I love it. I did one of their first events actually when nobody was there. I mean, it was just starting and it was just blossoming. And I love these events so much. Like, I'm Indigenous, so it's just really cool to see people that are also Indigenous. And it's also cool to just see BIPOC people. I love it. I love it. I'm really happy to be here.
Did you want to add anything?
I'm just a helper, so I second everything she said.
All right. Well, thank you so much for talking to us. Yeah, good luck. Thanks. That means a lot. Yeah, but we'll go around. We'll come back. We'll come right back. Hey, do you want to talk about, let's introduce yourself and your table.
Yeah, my name's Ebony. I run the Ebony Arts and Adornment. I make jewelry. I make like little works of art with precious stones. There we are. And organic material.
Yeah, so you're making all this by hand.
Yes.
How'd that begin for you? I guess
I have been like a really reluctant artist, so I've done like painting, drawing, and then a friend of mine was like, "You should work at this bead shop." So I was like, worked at a bead shop and fell in love with stones and started making things, and it just kind of went from there.
Oh, that sounds great. I guess what's your experience with Support Local Hustle? Like, what's this market been like for you?
I think I've done this 3 years. I was at the first one that they ran, and it was a blast. It's totally different vibe than other places that I've been at. And then every year that I could be in it, I just try to come back. They're amazing.
And where can people find your stuff on the internet?
It is b.ebonyaa, and on Instagram, and then I'm gonna open an Etsy shop here soon.
Well, thanks for talking to us. Okay, we're gonna go right. Did you want to talk about, I guess, your name, what your table's about?
Okay, my name's Jae Hyun. Thanks. I have gluten-free gochujang, which is a traditional Korean chili paste, and it's not easy to find gluten-free, but I am gluten-free and needed to have some, so I've been making it for myself for a couple years. It's my first time selling it, and I'm also selling zines about gochujang and kimjang, which is a festival of sorts that we have in Korea to make kimchi together with your community. So.
It's a festival where people make kimchi together?
Yeah, kimchi, because it's kind of a labor-heavy process, a lot of times people get together with family or with people from their village and make a huge batch of it as you go into the winter, so November is usually the time that that's happening.
And what, how, I don't know, what is, I'm curious, so that's really interesting to me, a community event, bringing community together to make food, I'm like, yeah, that's just so amazing, And so I guess, how does that transfer for you here to this market?
Yeah, well, so when this market first started 3 years ago, I sold origami at it and have become close with a lot of the people who have organized it. And a lot of people in this room actually are my community. And not only people who are selling around these tables, but from the moment we opened the doors, there were people walking up and coming to vendors and giving them hugs right away. Or a lot of us are connecting from not seeing each other for a year or since the last 2 years. And so this is a space where we're building really intentional community for Black, Indigenous, and POC makers in Minneapolis so that we can support each other and we can be seen and supported and uplift all of the stories and all of the things that we're bringing to the community.
And why is it important for people to be building intentional community? Why?
I mean, I think that we're seeing this all over the world where there are people who have felt the stresses of marginalization in whatever ways for a really long time, and having an ability to step out and really say, I exist here and I get to exist here as boldly and as big as everybody else gets to, I think is really important. And so creating spaces like this where there's a low buy-in for people to vend, we don't have some of the same rules for vending that other places would, gives people a different opportunity at economic powerfulness in their own lives.
Right on. Thank you so much for all of that. Thank you so much. One more time, your name, and is there a way to find your stuff online?
Yeah, my name is Jaehyun Shim. My product line is Shimchi, and you can email me at auntyhyung@gmail. That's spelled AUNTYHYUNG@gmail.
Right on. Thank you so much. All right, we're doing. So we have 2 more tables. Again, if you're joining us right now, we're at Support Local Hustle here in Minneapolis, Minnesota. Just moving to the different tables, learning about the different reasons people that started making what they're making and what it means for them to be here. I could summarize. There's a lot. I definitely look back at the feed and you can see it. So here are everyone's words, hence why it's live, and it's all there unedited for you. Okay, if you like what you're seeing, we're a non-profit as well. Go to unicornriot.ninja, just go to donate. We have a fundraiser, $5 or more recurring right now. Gets you a little bit of a gift. Check it out, unicornriot.ninja, donate. All right. Hi. Did you want to share your name and your table, or just kind of? Yeah.
So my name is Simone, and then the name of my business is Edible Arts.
Edible Arts. Well, I like that, by the way. I saw first thing I said Edible Arts. So what? So you consider your food art? I mean, how is it?
Well, definitely, because me and my daughter harvest from around the Twin Cities, so a lot of the things are mulberries. People think that the trees are not edible or a nuisance because they stay in the ground, or things like choke cherries, things that aren't harvested or sold in supermarkets, but are also medicinal. And so it takes an art form in order to have that knowledge and be able to make things. But I also make cakes and cupcakes and things that look like Barbies and dogs and things.
So some of this stuff is literally just from around Minneapolis area.
Yep.
How long have you been making this art?
I grew up watching my mom do some of the canning stuff, but making it my own has probably been 6-7 years, and then doing it full time has been 3 years. Yeah.
What's your experience been like here at Support Local Hustle?
This is the first time I've been a part of it, and I love it. At first, when I walked in, I was like, oh, we're all crammed together, but it actually is like really, it's nice, because you get to talk with your neighbors, and you get to know people that I didn't know before, so, yeah.
And is there any way for people to find this stuff find you online or get in contact with you to get any of this? Or?
Edible Arts MN on Facebook, otherwise just Simone Rendon. And then they have my contact. I forgot my business cards, and I don't do any online sales because what we harvest is what we have.
Yeah, wow.
And so once all my choke cherry syrup is out, I'm done for this season with it. So there's not a way to sell in abundance online.
And that's like a different relationship with food, right? Like, yeah. I don't know if you can talk about that.
Well, it's also harvesting for what you'll use and not over harvesting and not overtaking. But also like the zero waste thing. And each year, everything has a slightly different flavor. Whether I'm harvesting the same strawberries or harvesting the same mulberries, it's different flavors in small batches, which makes it unique in that own way.
Well, thank you so much for talking to me. My name is Lorenzo again. Thank you so much, Simone. All right, so we're gonna swirl back to the front. We're almost at the end of the line. Oh, sorry. All right, so again, if you guys join us, this is Support Local Hustle. We're gonna talk to Lo, the Pickle Witch. First, I just want to hear about your table. Let's tell me about your table really quick, and then we'll ask you about the market. So, again, if you want to introduce yourself, just tell me about your table.
Okay, cool. So, my name's Lo. I use they, them pronouns. I'm the Pickle Witch. I started pickling a few years ago when I was eating a lot of dumpstered food, and that food is like gonna go bad very soon. So fermentation was the way that I could kind of like make it last. And then, when you're getting food from, the scraps that grocery stores are throwing away, you get like a lot of one thing. So I would get sick of it. So I started trading it and selling it. And now here we are. All my products are vegan, gluten-free. A lot of the products that I get now, they don't come from the dumpster. They come from farmers around town. I sell at the Midtown Farmers Market. I buy all my produce there. I also make art. I write zines. My newest zine is about the death industry in America and how to avoid getting fleeced by the funeral industry. Thank you for coming by. Would you like me to talk about the market?
Yeah. So, if you want to tell us a little bit about the market, then I don't know. Yeah, let's tell us about the market. I have some questions, I think. It's been really, I went around, everyone's really happy. It's, very joyous. People really love the market. You founder of and co-organizer of the market. And so again, I just want to hear about what got you to bring these people together, be part of bringing these people together, and why this market's so important.
Yeah. Well, I think it started maybe from a little bit of a negative place where I had a few bad experiences at markets where nothing really bad happened explicitly, but it was just really hard. And when customers were disrespectful to me or misgendered me, there was no one that I could turn to, either vendors or the market organizers. And I didn't think that was the only way. So I did my first pop-up in my backyard during May Day because I live in Powderhorn, so I kind of leached off of that event. And it was really fun. I had my friends come and do some portraits, we had food, we had art, and it just confirmed what I already know, that my community is really rich and really deep and really talented, and we don't always have the outlet to do what we want to do. And I think I'm also really inspired by the hustle. So some people come here, they sell once, and I never see them again, and that's okay. They just needed the money right then. They brought a quality product. That's cool. Some people have come again and again. Some people have started businesses from the hustle that they brought here, which I feel is not necessary, but is really cool that they've gotten enough support that they feel that's possible. Another thing that really inspired Support Local Hustle to start is I realized that to start my own business, I borrowed so much stuff. I borrowed kitchen equipment, and like I borrowed a car, and I had to borrow all these things to go to the market. So I did a little fundraising, and we have a revolving loan fund where we give people $50 to $100 to come to the market, and then it's a zero interest loan. They pay us back at the end of the day if they made money, and then we just kind of feed a little bit. If we make any money from vendor fees or whatever, we feed back into that, and that helps us sustain like new hustle. And if you make more product for the market than you're able to sell, like that's a gift from the market that we're able to like give people.
Last time we were talking a lot too about how it keeps money in the like local economy. I guess I want to know more about why you feel that's important, like to look at it from an economic point of view. As somebody who comes from like the left, I feel like we're not usually talking about economics. Like nobody is talking about money. Everyone's just like talking about where to give it to. So I'm kind of curious, like what brought you to do this?
So I've worked for local and state government. I've worked in nonprofits. I've had my own business. And like money is pretty dirty. Like the way that it moves around is not really transparent, and there's like a lot of people that say that they're helping people and they get paid a lot of money, where the people that they're helping, they could just use that direct cash assistance. And there's not a lot of like flow between like social services sometimes and like the people who really need it. So I guess for me what's important is I look at the statistics of where the dollar stays in like the Black and brown community, and how like that dollar goes elsewhere. It doesn't stay in the community, and it is not because we don't have people making bread, fixing cars, like doing services and providing goods. It's because, I mean, we live in a white supremacist society, so a lot of the businesses that get a lot of, press or get a lot of popularity or attention are going to be white owned. But it's also because we, I think as a community, don't think about what it means when we use PayPal, what it means when we use Visa. Those small percentages that go from electronic money, those are the things that are building pipelines and are creating a subprime mortgage crisis, that are getting people, into like housing insecure situations. So by having a cash market, what I'm trying to get people to realize is that you work hard, you put your money in a bank, you go to that ATM, you bring your cash here, that dollar just like gets invested into the people who are making things, buying things from each other's tables, and like feeding their kids. So.
I have one more question, I think. And then, I was saying that Heather was talking about how they felt that this sort of market or this sort of idea was a way to resist late capitalism. And so I'm kind of curious if you feel that way. If this is like, even though you're walking into a market, there's items, it's just people. Is it a form of resistance? Do you feel like?
Okay, personally, yes. And I think the reason why is, I think when we talk about late capitalism, there has to be a power dynamic where someone is directly being oppressed by someone making money off your back. I'm a volunteer organizer. Every money that I make, I'm putting back into this so that I can grow and give people more opportunities. I'm not getting rich off of this. I'm also not able to provide like much cash assistance or healthcare, things that like really need to be provided by an employer. But I do feel like what we're doing here involves money, but is not necessarily part of the capitalist system. Like, I believe that the hustle is kind of our way around capitalism, because we still have to eat and make rent.
Well, again, thanks for talking to me. How can people follow Support Local Hustle? Can they just follow that? Or?
Yeah, if you want to follow Support Local Hustle, Instagram, Support Local Hustle. Also, I'm the Pickle Witch, and I'm heavily involved, so you can also follow my work. Thanks, guys.
That's good. All right, well, I think that's it. Pickle Witch. Thank you so much. All right, we're going to bring it down here, and then I'm going to go shopping. So let's, yeah. So we're going to walk out here really quick. Again, thanks so much for joining us. Should we do it this right here, you think, or out front? Oh, I got to tell them. Anyways, thanks for joining us. My name is Lorenzo. I was your host. This is Support Local Hustle. We went and we talked to all of these vendors. If you're just joining right now, I really suggest going back. Very lovely conversations. Everyone was super kind. A lot of different stuff is being made here. Handmade items. Supporting the local community here in Minneapolis, Minnesota. We also learned a little bit about alternative economies, like how is this economy that's being created here, so supporting the community, and why are people intentionally trying to make it. So I would go back, take a look at all the makers, and also if you like this stuff, go to unicornriot.ninja. We are also a nonprofit. All our support comes from viewers, so go there, click donate. We have a $5 or more recurring donor drive right now. You can get some you get stickers. I think I have stickers in my pocket. Sticker, the magnets, stuff that says Unicorn Riot on it. So if you want that, you know where to find it. Anyways, but thank you so much for joining us. Again, keep following. I had intended to have out all of these videos of the last market. It didn't work out, but keep following Unicorn Riot. So eventually there'll be like short videos so we can see what everyone's been saying. I'm going to keep coming back. There's 2 more markets like this. We're going to keep trying to cover them. So again, I'm Lorenzo, your host. Nico is on the camera. Dan's up there on the internet. We're going to take this feed down. Thanks again to all our supporters who allow us to keep bringing you these community events and keep bringing it to the ground where people are trying to find solutions to make it through the situation. Okay.
Long-term strategy is